Hello, every pony. This is Flyfly from the Adventures of Shadow Pon 3 and Flyfly the Rock Pegasus. In this episode, we learn about a stallion that comes into Ponyville that used to be a friend of Shadow Pon 3's, but something changed over him in time. Will something dramatic happen between Flyfly and Shadow Pon? Let us begin. It started as a good morning in Ponyville. Flyfly woke up to a beautiful morning as she got out of bed and opened her shades as the sun shined bright through her window. She walked downstairs and sat at the table as her mother said, "Why, good morning, Flyflyer. Did you sleep well?" "Why, yes, I did, Mother. Ready to start another day in Ponyville," Flyflyer said as she started to eat breakfast. After breakfast, Flyfly walked outside and walked around as Shadowpon soon joined her and said, "Hey, Flyflyer, beautiful morning, isn't it?" "Yes, it is, and my day gets better each time I see you," Flyflyer said. "Aw, you make my day just as much, Flyflyer," Shadowpon said as she nuzzled Flyflyer's cheek. Flyflyer blushed and then Shadowpon said, "There's a new pony in town." "Oh, how so?" Flyflyer said. "Moved into town a couple days ago, but I can tell it's just another show-off pony. Better keep away. It's the best thing to do," Shadowpon 3 said. "Oh, really? You don't think we can just talk to this new pony and see if he or she is a show-off?" Flyflyer asked. Yes, it's best to stay away from this new pony. I have a bad feeling if we interact with him, something bad will happen to one of us," Shadowpon 3 said. "Look, Shadowpon, hun, I think you're thinking this the wrong way. I think you're being the least over-dramatic about this whole situation," Flyflyer said. Shadowpon got in front of Flyflyer and said with angry eyes, "No, I am telling you right now, Flyflyer, stay away from that pony!" Flyflyer breathed slowly and took a couple of steps back as her body began to shake, and she ran off in the opposite direction with tears in her eyes as Shadowpon 3 stood there in shock as she started to cry. Flyflyer lay at a tree crying, burying her face in her hooves as she said out loud, "I can't believe it. Shadowpon 3 yelled at me." The new pony walked up to Flyflyer and said, "Something wrong? There, you have tears in those eyes." Flyflyer said nothing. "My name is Ice. What's yours?" Ice asked. Flyflyer picked her head up and looked at the sky blue body, ice crystal color eyes, and light blue and white hair pony and said, "My name is Flyflyer. Pleased to meet you, Ice. Sorry about the tears. My eyes are just watery," Flyflyer said as Ice sat down next to her and he said, "The #1 rock Pegasus who defeated the selfish Lina in the first ever music competition ever in Equestria? That Flyflyer?" "Yeah," Flyflyer said. "Oh, I just adore your music. Just love it. Your music touched mares and stallions' hearts all over Equestria," Ice said. "Why, thank you, Ice. That's very nice of you to say. I know I love what I do for a living," Flyflyer said as she started to smile at Ice. Shadowpon came up to them and said, "Why, hello, Flyflyer. Look, I'm sorry for yelling at you back there. I'm just worried for you too much." "Oh, it's okay, Shadowpon, hon. Oh, this is Ice, the new stallion in town," Flyflyer said. "Pleasure to meet you, Shadowpon," Ice said. "Why, pleasure is all mine, Ice. Hey, Flyflyer, can I have a minute with Ice? I'll catch up with you in a bit," Shadowpon said. "Okay, catch you later, Ice," Flyflyer said as she got up and put her hat and sunglasses on and walked away from them. "Okay, I know you remember me. You bullied me in school, but whatever you did to Flyflyer, you better confess now or I'll force it out," Shadowpon 3 said. "I have no idea what you're talking about, Shadowpon. I was just complimenting Flyflyer because I like what she does for a living. Her music is awesome and touches ponies' hearts worldwide," I said. I know what you're up to, Ice. You were nice to me and then you bullied me for 2 years straight," Shadowpon 3 says, her voice grew deeper and angrier. I sighed and said, "Look, Shadowpon, that was a different time. I may have been a bully to you, but I'm a changed stallion now. My attitude is different now. I'm nice now. I appreciate my life now. If you don't believe my truth that I'm telling you right now, then I don't know what kind of pony you are to make a mare cry," I said as he got up and walked away, and Shadowpon walked the other way in a huff. Fly went up the steps and knocked on Shadow Pon's door, and Shadow Pon said, "Come in." Fly opened the door and walked in, and closed the door behind her as Shadow Pon looked up from her book and said, "Oh, hey, Fly." "Hey there, Shadow. I think I can sense there was more better reason to talk to Ice. Are you two old friends or something?" Fly asked. Shadow Pon 3 took a deep breath and exhaled, and looked at Fly and said, "Back in Cantala, he was my bully in school. Each day he was a bully to me for the next 2 years. My life was absolutely horrific throughout those 2 years. But one day he left school, and then Cantala, my life became easier. But now that he is here in Ponyville, I'm afraid that he will do the same thing to me that he did back then to me in Cantala. But he said that he has changed, but I don't believe him. That's why I told you to stay away, but you don't listen." "What? Are you seriously blaming this on me? Ice came up to me and comforted me as a concerned pony, not a friend. Don't point hooves at the wrong pony here. Look, if anything happens tomorrow, I'll be there for you, Shadow Pon. I'm your special mare, but first calm down. Don't think on the subject and think on something else for the sake of our love," Fly said. "Okay, Fly. I'm sorry. Hey, same time for cuddles, right?" Shadow Pon said. "As always, Sugar Cube. See you tonight," Fly said. The next day, Shadow Pon 3 and Fly woke up and ate breakfast and went outside and walked around town, and Shadow Pon 3 said to Fly, "Hey, Fly." "Yes, Shadow Pon," Fly said. "Thanks for being here for me. You're a real big help in tough situations like these," Shadow Pon 3 said. "Oh, you're welcome, Shadow Pon. Like I said, since day one, I'm always here for you whenever you're in need of help," Fly said. After walking for a while, they stopped, and they were not being followed, nor were there any signs of Ice in front of them. There was a weird sense in the air, and both Fly and Shadow Pon 3 had a weird feeling too. They both stood in spot for a little while longer, and they turned around and headed back, and there was Ice standing there, grinning evilly. "Ice, what are you doing here? And why are you grinning like that?" Fly asked with a concerned look. "Oh, Shadow Pon was right. You should have stayed away from me, but even if I came to you, that makes you my next victim," Ice said as his eyes were glowing bright white as a fog surrounded all three of them. "Look, Ice, you don't have to do this. We can work this out," Shadow Pon 3 said. "Oh, you're way too late for that, Shadow Pon. And now your mare shall suffer with you," Ice said as an ice blast hit Fly, and Fly went flying and hit a tree as she went unconscious. "Look, Ice, why must you bully others when the mares and stallions have done nothing to you?" Shadow Pon 3 said. "Because the person I am here now, I'm the pony who enjoys to hear the sounds of crying that I have caused. I am the bully of Equestria," Ice said. Fly woke up and got up slowly and grunted as she said, "You may hurt others, Ice, but they don't take it mentally. I was bullied. But do you know what I do? I ignore them, 'cause I am Fly, the Rock Pegasus, and I am not happy with bullies. Time for your punishment, Ice." Fly spread her wings and flew at Ice and grabbed him and flew up high in the sky at high speeds, clearing the fog as Shadow Pon 3 looked up at her as her jaw dropped. Fly flew higher, then dropped Ice, then flew higher a bit more, then flew to Ice at high speeds, and before Ice hit the ground, his hind hoof was caught by Fly, and Ice was set down gently, and Fly landed too, and said, "Your punishment is to never bully again, or else I will be seeing you again very soon. Got it?" Fly said as Ice got up and said, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry for bullying you. And Shadow Pon and Fly, I promise I'm going to change." "Good," Shadow Pon said. To be continued with the next adventure.
At moments like these, you need to step back and say, "Where's the balloon party?"